Hey guys, I'm Dupree, and today I'm going to be going over advanced pool lessons and a lot of advanced techniques and strategies. I'm going to try to fit as much of this video as possible, so it may move a little fast-paced. So you can feel free to pause the video throughout. So let us start with a very popular one, the masse. Masse shots are the curving of the cue ball by elevating the cue. So putting a ton of spin with the tool of elevation, adding a ton of spin to that ball, making it curve. So this is not like a positional curve after hitting a ball. This is the cue ball curving without hitting anything. So an example of this be something like that. So I'm going to show you how to do this and make that 4-ball. So with a curve like this, where it's a very like U-shaped curve, if it was just like a go around bam curve, like something like that where you can't even see the curve too much, you don't have to elevate a lot. But for these, I call them U curves, U masses, where it makes like an N or a U, we are going to use a lot of elevation. And where you actually have to hit pretty hard for shots like that. So it's a lot of elevation, hitting pretty hard, following through until your tip hits the table. That is the proper follow through for a masse shot. You cannot get the spin if your tip does not go through the table. You see? You cannot get the proper amount of spin if your tip does not go through the table. We are also, it's a little bit of a feel system with the aim. There is a system for determining where to aim, but it has so many variables and it's very, very complicated. And I find it better just to do it based on feel. But let's move on to the next shot. So now we are going with banks. So banking is based on a very simple rule that the angle that a ball goes into a rail is the same angle that will come out of the rail. So if this ball goes in at a 20-degree angle, it comes out at a 20-degree angle. Very, very simple. You should be able to make majority of banks based on that concept. But one thing, the slower you bank the ball, the wider it goes. See, it goes wide. The faster, the harder you hit the ball, the shorter it goes. So that was the same angle, same shot. We made that ball on the left side of the pocket. The other ball we missed wide. And these little exceptions to the angle in, angle out rule increase as the angle on the bank increases. So if we're over here and we hit this one soft, we're missing that a good bit over than what we should be. And if we hit it hard, we're probably going to hit right here. I also cut that a little bit unintentionally. I didn't get down in the proper stance. But also, whatever spin is on the cue ball, the opposite spin is on this ball. So left spin on our cue ball puts right spin on our object ball, throwing it towards this right side of the pocket. Right spin on our cue ball puts left spin on our 4-ball, throwing it back towards this direction. So those two variables mixed together, like if we hit slow with left spin, we're missing that by a good bit. And if we hit really fast with right spin, we see it doesn't go over here, we make it in this side of the pocket. Also, the variables kind of cancel each other out. Sometimes, if you hit like slow with right spin, put left spin on that ball, sometimes they can cancel each other out like that, but sometimes we're not so fortunate. Okay, so this shot, the next thing we're going over is kicking. So kicking, I'm going to show you the basic diamond system. Let's say diamond system, whatever pocket we're kicking towards is labeled 0. So this is 0, and then each diamond going up from that, including the back of this pocket and the back of that pocket, is going up by 10. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. And the other side is labeled the same way. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So if our cue ball is at 20, the way we figure out how to get to 0 is divide by 2. And then we get on the other side, then we know it is 10. We have to hit 10 to get to 0. So if you keep going up here, say we're at 50, we need to hit 25. 25 is in between 20 and 30. Just like that. So you may be saying, well, the ball's not always over the pocket, so we just need to hit it. It's a little harder, and the system is not always perfect. It just depends on the type of table, but usually the system's pretty accurate. So this ball is at 10, our cue ball is at 30. What you do to figure out where to hit is you add these two numbers. So 10 plus 30 is 40. Then you divide by 2, so 20. And we always need to add a little bit of running English in order to hit that ball. But if we wanted to say hit it on its right side over here, actually it would be its left side coming in, but on this side over here, we could say, let's hit at 12. We may miss it, but let's hit at 12. And our cue ball's at 30, so 42 divided by 2 is 21. So we're going to take that over here, 21, cut that on its right side. So you see the system works pretty well, and it can be used for a good amount of measuring. So this next thing I'm going to talk about is strategy with rotation games. So you know in rotation games that means that you have to hit the balls in order. So 1 ball needs to be hit first, 2 balls second, 3 ball third, and so on and so on and so on. So what happens when we're in a situation like this? I'm going to throw some balls out. Let's say the 3 ball is the lowest ball on the table. There's a situation like this, and the situation like that is there because your opponent shoots the 2 ball, scratches, or fouls or something, but it's important that they foul first. They foul first. First thing I'm going to look at is, can this ball fit in there? The answer is yes, it does fit there. So what I'm going to do is take an intentional foul, which makes sure that my opponent cannot hit this ball. They cannot hit it from here, they can't hit it from there. And now, since I moved that 6 ball closer, they cannot hit it from this side. If they weren't able to hit it from this side already, you could either just tap the cue ball, or make it even harder, roll that 9 ball up there. So there's different ways you can do this, but the reason you do this, especially if there's a 3 foul rule, which means if your opponent fouls 3 times in a row, that's why they need to scratch first. Because then if you do that, then you'll be on 1 foul first, and they can just play the game with you. But if they scratch first, it's definitely better than doing it by yourself. But there is a case you can do it by yourself, and I'll show you that. But the reason you do this, because then your opponent can't hit this ball, they either have to just give it back to you on 2 fouls, or they just have to break it out and let you run it out. So the reason you would do this without your opponent fouling first is if there was a situation like this. So, lowest number ball on the table is the 3 ball. You cannot see it. The kick is not on either way. There is no kick here, there's no kick there. There is a 2-rail kick, but you see how hard that is. So what I'm doing in this case is I'm just going to roll this cue ball up on that 4, and the goal is to get them somewhere here is ideal. Because this puts your opponent in the situation where they have to play a tough shot and try to break them out. And if they don't, then they don't have much of a safety on. Really, the only safety on is like that. And that is not the greatest safeties. You can still hit it. You can still bank it. If they do hook you, you can still try to kick at it some way, shape, or form. Not the hardest ball to make on a kick shot, and it's really easy to leave safe. So really, that shot has nothing bad to it, unless your opponent can put you back in a safety from ball in hand. If they can put you back in a safety from ball in hand, I would not recommend shooting that shot, especially if there is a 3-foul rule on the tournament. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button down below. If you want to be notified when I post a new video, you can click the subscribe button, then the bell icon right next to it. That'll just send you an email and a notification saying that I've uploaded a new video. Thank you guys so much for 71,000 subscribers. So we've gone up 1,000 over the course of a few days. So thank you guys so much for that. Share the video on Facebook, share the video with your friends, and I will see you in the next video.